Oh, I forgot to ask. I know she has a very tight hamstring. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I don't have any. I mean, I'm probably stiff, but I don't have anything perfect. Knock
Okay.
on wood.
I'm see if I can wood. Sharon, what about you? The usual places. Okay. All right. Let's start out. What do we want to start? Oh, yeah. Let's start with some shoulders. I haven't done a ton of shoulders, and we're going to do it in a. Well, we have, but we haven't. We've done elbows on the ground and expanding the shoulder blades around the ribs in the last few sessions. You're going to start with your blocks on the mat. The top of the mat, whichever way you want to face. The blocks are going to be behind you and you're going to sit down. Record. I did. Okay.
It's flashing.
Alright, so have a seat. Good. And all 5 fingers facing forward. Pinky side of the hand off the block. So your pinky finger should go off the outside of your block and your thumb should go off the inside of the block. Really spreading the metacarpals, the little bones in your hands, as much as you can. Make sure your blocks are straight. And you can do this without blocks if blocks make it too deep. Okay, once your hands are on your block, you want to make sure the shoulders are in front of the hands. So your shoulder blades are going to try to roll, or your shoulder heads, the top of the shoulder, you're going to try to roll forward. Bring your feet pretty close to your hips. Pick the hips up by pressing through your hands. Bring your tail under. So you're sitting more on the back of the tailbone rather than really far forward on the sitting bones, which are right in front at the bottom of the pelvis. So you want to be kind of resting so you can roll on your tailbone. And then rolling shoulders forward, pressure in your hands. Squeeze your blocks from thumb to pinky, squeeze in. Really activate the hands. Try to lift your middle 3 fingers. They probably won't lift up, but it'll flatten your knuckles down. Here's lift. Next, put your feet down. There we go. Good. All right, so hips don't help with fingers as much as they may want to help with everything. Now let's soften your hips. Roll heavy on your tailbone forward with the pelvic bowl. Top of the pelvis rolls forward. Don't grip your back to do that. And then just release, low belly. Transverse abdominal, softly suck back, pulling pelvic bowl back. So don't squeeze glutes here. A little pressure with feet like they're sliding the mat forward helps. Do that again. Keep the shoulders rolled forward. Roll heavy on your tailbone. And then let it roll back. Keep that movement little. It's just from your hips. Stay heavy on your tailbone as you roll forward. And then roll back. Shoulder blades, shoulder heads forward. Feel a little stretch in your shoulders here. Elbows wide. Your hands should feel like they're spinning in toward the thumb side of the hand. To take elbows wider and spread shoulder blades wide off the back. Okay? Roll shoulders forward. Now let's move through shoulder girl. See if you can just lift your shoulders, roll them back, top of the head forward, elbows hug in without straightening and bending arms. And roll it back forward. So that degree of flexion in your elbows doesn't change. Roll your shoulders back. Suck the belly back. Roll your shoulders forward. Roll the shoulders back, top of the head reaching forward, and then roll your shoulders forward. Now press into the hands until the arms are pretty straight. The base of the hand may lift. As your shoulders stay rolled forward, it's going to make that angle in your wrist pretty steep until you stretch in your hands. Now roll separately all the way to the top of the sitting bones. Roll forward on the hips. Then roll shoulder blades behind ribs. Use middle abs to expand ribs. Then roll shoulder heads forward, ribs roll back, hips roll back, pelvic roll. And then bend your elbows, sit back into that stretch. Opening elbows, rolling shoulders forward. Good. Shoulders have to be in front of your hands. You're pretty close there, Sharon. Maybe you can grip a little forward on your mat. A little more. Good. Do it again. Press into the hands, especially the knuckles. Think of picking up fingers as you press. They won't lift, especially as you come forward. Then roll all the way to sitting bones. Roll the shoulder blades back, opening the rib cage. And then roll the shoulder heads forward, hips roll back, soften your low back. Feel a little forward push on the mat with your feet, real soft, just to help drop pelvic bowl back, chin in, head in, elbows widening. Try to sit the ribs deeper between shoulder blades. Don't sink into the neck here. Keep downward pressure in the hands to keep neck long. One more like that. Push through hands. Slowly roll all the way to sitting bones. Stay heavy on your tailbone. Roll the shoulders up and back. Outer spiral arms a little here. And then roll shoulders forward, low belly starts rolling back, pelvic roll back, and then come in. Let's bring heels wider than toes. You're a little bit pigeon-toed. Try to lift all 10 toes, and then lift the outer foot, rolling in. Knees may roll in. Low belly sucks back. Try to roll on your hips out. softly roll forward, and then very softly roll back, low belly pulling back. One more like that. Very soft, roll forward, very soft, roll back. Okay. Let your toes come down, but try to keep your big toe come down especially, but try to keep the pinky side of the foot a little lifted. Now press through hands. Roll all the way in front to sitting bones, all the way forward. Roll the shoulders back to open the ribs. Pick your middle abs up, and then roll shoulders forward, ribs back, pelvic bowl back, bend the elbows, resting into the hands. Press through hands. Good. Bring your ribs over to the right. Bend the right elbow. Try to put your shoulder almost on top of the hand. Elbow reaching back. Then bring heels to parallel, feet to parallel. Drop your knees across to the left. So softly twisting in the core. Your upper body is right, knees are left. Suck the low belly back. Lift the outer feet. Good. If you want to add to the twist, you can cross your left ankle about halfway down the right shin. Good. Uncross the leg, bring it back. Go to the left. Move your upper body to the left. Think of the ribs sliding horizontally across like a typewriter slides. Elbow or shoulder, excuse me, trying to come over the hand. Elbow reaching wide to the left and back. Pick up the outer left foot and drop your knees to the right. If you want to go deeper, cross the right ankle about halfway down the left shin and pull softly across. Your hips should drop forward when that happens, so you end up with space here between rib cage and pelvic bowl. Feel like you're pulling back on the mat with the foot. Uncross the leg, bring it back to center. Good. Press all the way forward, keeping the arms straight as you can. Base of the hand may lift. Now go ahead and roll up through the hand, bending fingers back a little. And then roll all the way up. Good job. Come to knuckles of the hand on your mat, and then turn it so palms face in. Your thumb is forward, your fingers are out. They're not squished, they're flat. Right here on the knuckles. Good. Okay, try to press into knuckles, bring your feet a little closer. Feet are hip width apart. Lift all 10 toes, and then bring your big toe back down. That's actually harder than you think. It has to do with some of the muscles in the hips. And then bring the rest of the toes down. Feel like your toes are softly trying to lift and open, suctioning the ball of the foot down. From there, think of your knees as going forward, past the feet, and open the chest as you lift your hips by rolling shoulders back. If that's not going to happen, just stay on the floor, take your feet further forward, roll your shoulders back, open your chest from there, roll the shoulders back forward. Just limit your range of motion. Roll all the way through ribs, roll onto sitting bones, roll shoulders forward, roll to the back of the sitting bones. Good. If you're going to do the whole range of motion, it's feet closer. Try to think of lifting, spreading toes, so you can use feet, knees past the feet, is what it feels like, and then shoulders roll back to open ribs. Shoulders roll forward, belly sucks back, and you're rolling back down. Good. Now we're going to go the other way. Turn hands backwards, flatten them out. So you should feel hands a lot right now too. You're getting your hands warmed up as much as the upper body. Okay, spread the fingers across your blocks, thumb on the outside of the block now, pinky on the inside of the block. Okay. Really spreading metacarpals in the hand. Bend your elbows, don't let them hyperextend. Keep a little bend. And then feet close to hips, just to bring your hips under. So you're trying to be resting kind of on the back of the tailbone. Okay? You want to get to the point where your upper arm and lower arm make a 90-degree angle eventually. Roll shoulder heads forward. That spreads the shoulder blades off the back, elbows wide. Move your feet far enough forward so your hips can move. They're really close to you. Your tailbone's going to be stuck up. They're going to be really tight. Okay? Now, notice the hips. Are they tight? Hold in. Let them go. Roll forward a little bit in the hips, not by straightening arms, by using the core. And then use low belly rolling back. You can feel a little bit like your feet want to slide them out forward, not hard, just barely. And then release that pressure in feet. Just suck low belly back. Good. And then release it. Let the hips roll forward. Stay heavy on the tailbone, and then suck low belly back. Let your elbows bend a little deeper. Shoulder heads roll a little further forward, and elbows pull wider. Make space for your ribs to drop into the shoulder girdle. Probably don't. Okay? Do it again. Keep your low belly engaged a little bit this time, just softly. Keep sitting bones apart, with the back door being open there at the base of the buttocks. Roll forward, keep sitting bones apart. Don't squeeze your low back, don't use your back to do this, and then suck low belly a little bit, roll back. The roll back should be easy. That's where ribs are hanging. Gravity's helping you with the roll back. Okay, press into the arms until they're straight. Don't hyperextend if you can. Roll all the way to the sitting bones, all the way forward. Sitting bones are way in front. Then roll shoulders up and back, outer spiral arms. If you've got a big stretch, you can start bending elbows back toward each other. Re-straighten the arms, roll shoulders forward, low belly draws to roll, hips and ribs back, head drops forward. Bend your elbows back. It should feel like you're pulling your blocks to the back of the rib cage and the back of the rib cage to the blocks. If those low floating ribs, the lowest ribs in the back open back and tilt back, it makes length in your lumbar spine. That's what you want to feel. Let's do one more set like that. Press through the arms to come up, keeping shoulders rolled forward. When you're all the way forward, keep shoulders rolled forward, top of the head aimed forward. Press a little further and you'll lengthen the neck, longer out of the shoulder blades. By sliding shoulder blades down the sides of the rib cage. Then roll all the way to the front of the sitting bones. Feel your feet are softly pulling back on the mat. Then roll the shoulders back, outer spiral the arms. That means biceps face out and then maybe elbows can bend in. Re-straighten the arms, roll shoulder heads forward. Bend your elbows a little, roll the hips back, low belly, and drop your head forward. Bend your elbows, hands feel like they're pulling the back of the ribs to the blocks. Elbows wide, shoulders forward. Pressure in the thumb side of the hand. Right where the thumb meets the wrist. Bring your ribs over to the right. Okay, let's go ahead and push through left arm a little more. It's going to go a little straighter. Bend right elbow a little more. And then take your knees across to the left by lifting out our right foot, twisting in the waist. Keep your glutes soft. You can add that crossing left ankle over the right and pull further across. Your hip will start to reach forward a little bit to open up between rib cage and pelvis on that right side. Uncross the leg, let it go. Go across to your left side. Almost done. This is hard for you. You probably don't feel a lot of hand shoulders. Take the knees across to the right. Try to start the movement by lifting your outer left foot. The pinky side of the foot lifts up. That starts an inner rotation in the femur, in the hip joint. Then as knees drop across, let your hip go forward a little bit. Keep your right arm straightening to push you a little left. Bend the right knee, bring it up, and put your right foot about halfway down the shin and pull softly across. At the same time, think of rolling a little bit forward on the tailbone, just a touch, to open pelvic floor and ribs apart. At the same time, roll that left shoulder back. Yeah, for the left side open more. Yeah. Across the leg, bring it back up. Good. Press through the arms to straighten. Slide shoulder blades down, roll to sitting bones. Outer spiral arms, roll shoulder blades under ribs. Your shoulder blades come together behind the rib cage to pick it up. It's not hips pushing, back pulling. It's shoulder blades bringing the ribs up. Roll shoulder heads forward, ribs roll back, chin in, hips roll back, bend elbows, feet softly push you into that deeper stretch. How are we doing? Feeling this, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. How's that shoulder? You getting this one open here?
Yeah.
You good? All right. From here, go ahead and straighten your arms, slide hands down to the mat.
With pleasure.
Good job. Keeping hands on the mat, spread your fingers, feel the mat, try to lift the base of the hand, bending fingers back. So bend your elbows to do it. There we go, and put a little bit of your body weight into it. So we're just stretching hands a little differently today. Your hands done.
Yeah, it's one of those wingless wasps.
Yeah. Oh, it's lovely.
I'm gonna snatch it.
You want a tissue or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to put him on the ball.
Yeah, it's an ant.
Okay.
They hurt when they bite, though.
We've seen better days. All right, bend the elbows a little further if you've got a bigger stretch in the fingers and hands. You need to do one at a time. Keep one hand down and just bend fingers in one, and then do the other. Waking up those hands. Now go the other way. Tension your fingers. Pull in on the mat like you're pulling up into the palm of the hand. Good. Keep the hands tented. See if you can bend elbows back. You want elbows to be right above hands, so if you're going to go deeper, hips come forward. Then you can bend elbows back. Wrists aren't working nearly so hard, but hands should be. Good. Feel that? Hand really has to hold your weight. Now roll your shoulder heads forward here. Good. Now roll your shoulder heads back. Elbows pinch in a little. Yep. Do it again. Roll shoulder heads forward. Feel how the shoulder blades migrating around the ribs necessarily move your ribs a little bit. Okay, keep your hips real tight. Your ribs won't move because spine's attached to both. So let the hips be free to move. Don't lead with your hips. We'll let them follow the motion of the ribs. Good. One more time. Roll the shoulders back. Feel that softly rolls you forward on hips without even using back. Or forward, really. Roll the shoulders back. Good. Flatten out the hands again. Hands should be very awake. Okay. Keep a bend in the elbows. Bring your hips back toward your hands. Okay. Turn the hands forward. So staff pose, if you put a little pressure in the hands, like you're almost gonna lift up by bringing shoulder blades down the side of the body, your ribs get lighter. Let's do this on your blocks first. Hips right between your blocks. Make sure your butt fits. Put your blocks pretty much right up against you. Don't squeeze yourself in there. You want to make sure your hips can slide into and out of that space. Okay? Gonna play with bridge, making sure your hands are active. You're gonna activate feet later. So remember, this whole network of muscle here that runs down into hand and wrist, if it closes in the hand, closes in the wrist, that closure is gonna go right up to neck, and vice versa. So if your hands decide to die and stagnate when you've got effort and weight on them, you basically compress the wrist, all these muscles shrink in and they don't want to help anymore. So activate your hands, spread them across your block, really pressing down through knuckles. The muscle in the hand are all here. Don't let your wrist get compressed. Keep your weight forward in the knuckles, right? Same thing when your weight varying in other shapes. Feel that? It's almost like you're going to go back to this shape we had where you lift up the base of the wrist. Keep that forward pressure. Okay? Now pull shoulder blades down the sides of the body to pick your butt up off the mat. Keep your low belly sucked in. You may not lift. You may just get lighter. It's fine. Your spine may get longer. And then bring it back down. Good. Okay, let's do it again. Keep the weight forward. Even maybe try to keep the base of your wrist up. That's incredibly hard. Good luck. Okay, and then bring it up. Shoulder blades come down. Roll your shoulder heads forward while you're there. Suck the belly back, ribs back. And then roll the shoulders back while you're up there. Do it again. Roll shoulder blades forward. Suck the ribs back. There you go. And roll shoulder blades back. Bring it down. You can do it from the floor. Roll shoulder blades forward, suck ribs back. Roll shoulder blades back, let ribs open. Good. Roll shoulder blades forward. Try to feel how the pressure goes more to the knuckles when shoulder blades are forward. It actually helps you, right? Shift some of your weight forward. And roll shoulder blades back. Now you've got to start bringing ribs forward and keep weight forward. You guys feeling that?
Yeah.
Roll shoulder blades forward. Suck the belly back, but keep the shoulder heads forward so you can keep some weight in the knuckles. You can bend the elbows if you hyperextend, none of you are. Roll shoulders back, open ribs. Okay, if you want to keep it up, step up a notch, keep it in the air. Roll shoulders forward, suck the belly back, suck the ribs back. Keep your feet active, spread your toes out. Roll shoulders back, open up the ribs, keep low belly sucked back. Roll shoulders forward. 2 more, wherever you're at. If you're in the air, fine. If you need to be down, fine. Roll shoulders back. Good, roll shoulders forward, hold. Start pulling back on the mat with the feet. If your hips are down, you'll just build in these bend and pull. Low belly sucks back, and then try to lift your hips up. Swing forward, open up the chest. That's it. Bring the toes down. And then shoulders roll forward while you're here. And stay on the mat for 2 more. Shoulders roll back, open chest, push through the thumb side of the hand. Glutes are not helping, let them go. I don't care if hips are up a little. Shoulders roll forward, belly sucks back. Shoulders roll back, open it up. And now to come back, shoulders roll forward, ribs start coming back. And then bring it all the way down. Good, how we are? Good. All right, flip your hands. Spread from thumb to pinky. So I said shoulders and we're doing hands, but those go together, right? Hand side, quickly. Small muscles there. So spread from thumb to pinky, then pull your elbows in toward your rib cage, like you're gonna hug in on your ribs. The base of your hand will probably lift a little bit. Good? And then put soft pressure back down into that stretch to bring the base of the hand back down. You have to wing elbows back out, they'll lose the stretch. There needs to be a linear stretch where these muscles have to travel over that angle. So when your elbows bail to the side, the stretch is gone. When they pull back in, the stretch comes back. That's why the hand pops up, and you put very soft pressure into this shape. Okay, spread from thumb to pinky. Keep hand active a little bit. And see if you can roll shoulder heads forward, suck the belly up and in and back. Drop your head, it'll help. Let your back open. And then roll your shoulders back. Outer spiral arms, that means biceps face forward or out. And roll shoulders back. Good. It's not super dangerous, so let your elbows bend to their fullest extent here because we're not putting weight into it. Inner spiral arms, so elbows wing out and roll shoulders forward. Make fists with your hands and then just roll to your knuckles. Good. And then open and close. That's how we're doing. Good. Good. Feeling that bridge?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move the blocks. Hands to the mat. Last one here. Feet flat. Feel the hands.
Yeah, it itches.
Stretch.
Yeah.
Circulation.
Yep. Okay, spread the line in the fingers. See if you can press into your hands and then slowly slide the butt forward. Maybe you're strong enough to start lifting hips as knees go past the feet and then roll it back again. Notice what happens in your hand with that when that happens. Do you end up in your wrist and pressing it? If so, shift forward, shoulders forward, belly sucks. Keep grabbing the mat with your fingers as you roll through that, and then keep grabbing the mat with your fingers as you roll back. Eventually hips can go all the way through. Eventually you can pick up. Good. All right. How are we doing? Just play with hands. Swivel backwards. Bend the fingers backwards. Good. Bring them up. Sit tall, but don't arch the low back. Don't sit into your low back by throwing pelvic bowl forward. Keep your tail a little under, and then try to pull shoulder blades down, low belly lifting. That's a tough one. Then reach back forward again. Ribs pulling back. Good. Go the other way with your hands. Keep fingers interlaced, holding in on each other like they're locking in, like you're scissoring one hand into the other, but then pull wrists out to the side, outer spiral arms, so biceps face the ceiling. Good. Feel that little bit of wrist relief there? Now bend your left elbow to pull back on the right wrist. Feel that? Okay. You keep a pressure forward from the shoulder blade sliding forward. You guys all know how to do that. Then switch. So come back to the middle if you're confused. Pulling apart on your lock. Wrists make 90-degree angles. Outer spiral arms, and think of pushing back forward with shoulder blades. Sucking belly back, then bend right elbow to pull back a little on left wrist. Keep the fingers squeezing each other. Yeah, you feeling that?
Yeah.
Feels good, right?
Yeah.
It's better than putting your body weight into it. You're using your own opposition. You're learning how to bring the shoulder blade forward and ribs back. So if anybody at home hasn't done any of the other videos, they may be having some trouble with this. All right, roll through the wrists. Good. Oh, you too.
Yeah, good.
Okay, so let's bring the feet into Baddha Konasana. Soles and feet together. Pull the toes open quite a bit. Good. Tent the fingers behind you. And keep the wrists fairly straight. Pull in on the mat. Feet are about 2 feet in front of you, so this is a really long Baddha Konasana. Roll the shoulders back, roll to the front of your sitting bones. Shoulder blades are going to squeeze together, and if you've got a big stretch, you can even bend the elbows toward each other. Keep low belly lifting. So I'm not using my back to try to shove the hips forward. I'm going to lift my low belly, which keeps me on the sitting bones, but a little behind them. Then I'm going to try to use shoulder blades to push ribs forward, which drags hips. Not back to shove hips forward, hoping ribs will follow. Okay? So it's shoulder blades roll, elbows hug in, push with fingers, pick up ribs. Get that? Low belly gets elongated and sucks inside the ribs to come up. Feel that? Go the other way. Shoulders roll forward. Let your low belly suck back softly. Keep your ribs released. Let the knees open. Good. Toes open. Activate your feet. Good job. Come on forward. So you feel how putting your pelvic bowl into the stretch with hip flexors released actually deepens that stretch. Right? So if you want to stay there because you're that tight, just to roll yourself to the front of the sitting bones, then you can stay there. If you want to come forward, we're going to try another way of pulling that pelvic bowl forward. You're going to use the muscles in the back, the lats, the serratus, to pull your shoulder blades back. Hold ankles, elbows hug in, pull back on the feet with your hands pretty strong, but it's from the muscles running here. So shoulder blades come behind ribs to pull ribs forward. Low back can stay rounded, okay? But eventually, if you pull the ribs far enough forward, pull feet back, it gets easier to roll to the front of the sitting bones without using the hip flexors. You guys feel that? Okay, good. Now open your toes. Think of turning your inner feet toward each other. Ankle bones may lift a little. And then try to find your low belly without the hip flexor. Elbows hugging in. Keep the tension in the hands from the back. And your low belly can start to suck up out of the front of the hips. Guys feel that a little bit? Okay, let's shift back. Push the mat forward with feet. Elbows hug in. Think of going forward with your feet. Elbows hug in and reach forward. Suck your low belly back. So now you're round, okay? Start your movement by pulling on the mat with feet a little. That pulls you from the tailbone toward the sitting bones without doing anything else. Pull elbows in, pull shoulders back, like you're gonna roll shoulder blades behind ribs, and then finish rolling forward, pulling with hands and feet. Good job. You're starting to feel that a little bit more? Okay, let's get a little more leverage. So you can get elbows to the front of your shins and still hold on to the feet. Okay, try not to hold on to your toes. They're active. They're doing something. They're busy. So put your knuckles into your feet or hold ankles, whatever. And pull back on the shins with elbows. That should come from here. And keep trying to bring ribs forward. Good. How are we doing? Good. Don't think down so much. When you drop the head down, floating ribs pop up. It's the vertebrae again. Are all kind of attached. So, or they are attached. Pull collarbone forward Keep neck long, no crane head either, that's not really gonna help you, that's gonna engage the back muscles, which frees the shoulder blades. You want shoulder blades free to pull behind the ribs. That's your leverage to come forward. Then open toes, pull feet back on the mat to roll you to the front of your sitting bone. How we doing? Okay, good. Now go ahead and just let your head release, let it drop, let it hang, not pulling. And then push forward on that with feet suck, low belly back. Hopefully starting to make some space in your low back. You guys feel that a little? Go the other way. We're gonna rock back and forth. Toes are open the whole time. Pull back on the feet, pull back on the mat with the feet, pull back on the shins with elbows. Start bringing the chest long and forward. Knees may even lift a little to put some slack in those hip flexors. Go the other way. Push the mat forward with the feet. Let your head dangle. Suck your low belly back. Shoulders can roll forward. Shoulder heads roll forward a little to open shoulder blades. Pull back on the mat with the feet. Shoulders roll back. Elbows pull on shins. Hands pull on ankles. Last two. Roll low belly back. Let head dangle. Shoulders roll forward. Low belly sucks back like you're trying to make a little arc. Rounding spine. Then pull back on the mat with feet. Pull back on the shins with elbows. Pull the shoulder blades together behind the ribs to bring you forward. You guys getting a little more room in there. Last two. Roll it back. Low belly pulling back. Feet push the mat forward. Knees open at the same time. Lots of space in front of the hips. Last one. Pull back on the mat with feet, pull back on the shins with elbows. That should come from serratus, intercostals, the muscles attached to the rib cage. And then chin in, neck long. Feel like your collarbone's going forward. Good, and drop the chest as deep as you can. And roll it all the way. How are you doing? Yeah? Feel that little rhythm of rolling? Let's bring your left leg in, right leg forward. Good, we're going to do a few seated postures today. Okay, and then bring your elbow inside the right knee. Palm facing the ceiling. If you can't reach, you can use a block. And then you put palm face down so you can hook your wrist over the block and pull with that. If you can reach, it's just elbow into knee and elbow from the serratus pulls back to help you start a little twist. Ribs coming open. Your left hand can just drape back. Don't reach with the hand. I don't want so much activity in the wrist back. Your hand is loose. The shoulder rolls behind the rib cage, the top shoulder. So your bottom shoulder is going to get rolled a little forward, kind of rolling in front of the ribs or under the ribs. Your top shoulder rolls up and back behind the ribs, and you lean back a little bit. Right elbow keeping your right shoulder forward as you twist. It's a twist. You feeling this? Yeah. This side should be open. Okay. The knee is pushing down into a surface. So if you need to put a bolster there or a pranayama pillow, there's that. All right, bring the arm over the head, but it's still draping. Now the rotation of the shoulder is shoulder blade around the ribs a little bit, okay? And then reach, so forward, elbow forward. There you go, good. Okay, if you want to go deeper, slide the bottom arm further out. Try to hook shoulder inside knee, or if you can't quite get there, you can put shoulder against block. Hand reaches for foot or whatever you can touch. It doesn't have to be your foot. Your hand can touch the leg, the calf, the shin, the ankle, whatever. Reach the hand for something and hold. Come on, you guys can get to your leg. Sharon, reach for the leg. And then you can get some part of your leg. Yeah, there, that's it.
Oh.
Yeah, just hold on to your leg.
Oh, okay.
It's like I came
Okay.
over there.
I thought I was trying to go up and over.
I thought our hand was supposed to go this way.
Yeah, me too.
It's like it's never getting
It's
there.
gonna in a minute, but now you have some leverage to get there. All right, so keep your shoulder, bottom shoulder dropping, and you're gonna try to lean back over the bottom leg and look under this elbow. Keep holding the leg. All 5 fingers are together. This is leverage. By itself, you may not have been able to reach that, but try to roll open. Bottom hand is going to push down in the mat to help pull that bottom side under as the top side rolls open. So hold on and then try to sneak under there as much as you can, leaning back. Whatever's touching this leg, elbow, knee, whatever, is going to lean back a little bit. That helps keep that bottom shoulder forward. Feel that stretch more? A little bit. Okay, if you can get all the way to the foot, you get the shoulder inside and you roll back. Same thing. This knee pushes away. The left knee pushes into the mat as you rotate back. You guys feeling this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Feel how that leverage helps?
I did.
Okay. Bring it up. So you don't have to get the arm all the way over the head. The opening is here. Right? So if you have leverage here to push back, elbow to knee, and open here, I don't have to get my head all the way under there to get that stretch. You see that?
Yeah.
Ribs come open here, right in there. It's mostly just getting those floating ribs away from pelvic bowl. So this pressure combined with this pull gives you that leverage to twist the core. There, that, you feel that? Good, and that's pretty acute stretch there,
Yeah.
right? The leverage changes it. Okay, let's switch. Bring that leg in. Take your other leg out. I'm gonna stay open for you guys. Your left leg is out. The right sole of your foot is into the inside of the left foot.
I'm surprised at how much this knee has, that needs to be touching.
Yeah, this
That leg.
knee.
In
if
order
it's-
in order to release it.
Well,
Yeah.
to release it,
You gotta
yeah,
have
if it's in the
something.
air, so this leg's floating, the hip is holding, and it doesn't feel like it can release. So this needs to touch something, you guys have it set up over there, also doesn't matter. Something softer is better, and then it can release. Now, beyond releasing, if it's touching the surface, it can press, which lends to that twisting.
Yeah, it lends to that.
Okay, this dropping is pelvic bowl dropping. This pull, this push, which is really a pull from the serratus, is opening ribs away from pelvic bowl. So again, you do not have to fit your head under there. Okay, let's start from the top. You can keep this here if you need it. If not, get rid of it. You can open this wider if you have that. You're just moving more toward your split, right? Your 180-degree pose. Elbow inside the knee if you can get it there. First, do this without the depth of the range of motion. If you can't get it to the floor, use a block. Can't get it to a block on first level, you can either put your block on second level, and just lay the forearm on it. By the time you get to third level, you can't pull anymore because it's going to tip. So by the time you need third level, go to 2 blocks so you can still get some leverage to twist. Okay, this bottom elbow is helping you turn the bottom side under. Okay? So that's what you want leverage for. If you're getting all the way to the ground, palm faces up, it gives you an outer spiral in the arm, which brings the shoulder blade behind the ribs more.
What's your quad doing on your left?
It's
To
not
relax
doing
it.
anything.
Something.
You're on the floor. The
So
leg
your hand
straight
is
because-
up.
Say it again.
Your hand is up.
If you're on the floor, your palm faces up. If you're holding onto a surface, you can drop the hand down. But ideally, the palm facing up lends to a little spiral in the arm. But it's not a big deal because that's most you can do that from down here more too. All right, so you're gonna pull the bottom shoulder forward to try to pull the bottom ribs forward a little bit. Bring the top arm back, let it dangle there. So you're not reaching with the hand. We don't need to reach with the hand or twist with the neck. It's not gonna get you there. Keep your eyes gazing toward your bottom hand. Roll the top shoulder up and back behind the rib cage. It's the shoulder blade that's rolling. Palm should face the ceiling if the shoulder rolls. Yeah, you feeling that? Okay. Bottom elbow pulling to help you twist and open ribs and lean back a little bit over that left leg. Keep dropping your right knee to the floor. Good. If you're real flexible, it starts to feel like, well, I'm not getting my stretch anymore because you can't go any further because you're going to fall back. Okay? So now let's reach overhead. Arm rotates the other way, palm facing the floor, shoulder blade a little in front so it can slide up the side of the rib cage. Guys feel that? Okay, now go ahead and reach for whatever you can touch. Pretty much everybody can get something over here. I mean, if you were sitting up, you'd have to touch your leg, right? You gotta get something. All right, so get some part of the leg, or if you're real flexible, go all the way to outer foot, don't let foot sickle, it stays active. Bottom elbow pulls back. I don't care if you're up here, you just don't look under. Bottom elbow pulling, top hand really holds, and you try to open here between rib cage and pelvis. This knee pressing down, you lean a little back. You getting it? Okay, if you can go deeper, slide bottom elbow forward, shoulder inside. Look at a little friendly gecko, you hear it?
What is that?
It's a gecko, very sad, right? For the longest
Yeah,
time, I
it's
had
a
no
gecko.
idea
It
what
is?
it was.
I've never heard that.
All right, here we go.
It's a little
So-
mating call.
And we have a lot of geckos.
All right, so keep your hand on the leg or the foot or whatever. Keep the bottom arm pushing into the ground if it's on the ground, pulling into the knee if it's against the knee, and then try to twist, opening here. This knee's pushing down, the hand can help drop it down if you're in the full twist. Keep this foot turned out if you're holding the foot, breathe. Good, and drop it back down. How are you? Good.
Yay.
Hey,
Nice stretch.
feel this?
Oh, yeah.
Side? Good. All right. Let's go ahead and come back to body pronouncement one more time. Soles of the feet together. Same length you want. You just create spacing one side at a time to create space in both sides. Open your toes. Hands on ankles. Don't hamper the activity of the feet. Pull back on the mat with your feet. Pull back with elbows in. Shoulder blades coming behind ribs. And then try to feel the sides get long in the same way you just did. Low belly has to lift, knees dropping, pull back on the legs to come forward. You guys feel a little more space there?
Oh, yeah.
Bring elbows to the front of the shins if you have that. Pull back with elbows to slide the ribs further forward. And then go the other way. We're gonna do about 4 or 5, like feel difference, rocking back and forth. Push mat forward with your feet, suck low belly back to round. Let shoulder blades drape forward, drop head, legitimately, hang head. And go the other way. Pull back on the mat with feet, pull back on the shins with elbows to bring your ribs forward, flattening spine. If you add a teeny bit of low belly, you'll get some length. If you add hip flexor, you'll get stuff. Let's go the other way. Feet push forward, low belly sucks back, elbows release away from shins or soften, drop the head. Then pull back on the mat with feet, pull back on the shins with elbows, keep toes open, shoulders roll back a little bit to bring ribs further forward. Look how deep you're getting. Feel that?
Mm-hmm.
Good. All right, and roll it back up. Good. We're getting there.
Very good.
Nice, good?
That pushing and sucking in the stomach is just the hugest change.
Release.
I mean, you push with your feet and suck in your stomach. I mean,
Yeah, so that's that pushing forward with feet and lifting low belly separates some of the muscles in the low belly and inside the top of the pelvic bowl, transverse abs, psoas, and those really deep core muscles from the hip flexors,
oh yeah.
which those get stuck together, and then the hip flexors do the job of the low belly, and the low belly atrophies, and the hip flexors get tight, and then the hips get tight, and it's all downhill from there. Okay, so let's go to, what was we just going to do? Oh yeah, rolling through the hips on the floor. So today's going to start easy, it's going to get hard. All right, we're going to turn sideways. And you're going to sit kind of like a cheerleader, I don't know what you want to call this. It's not
The Z.
it's not a perfect shape in any kind of textbook way, except that I want the thigh of the back leg, I've got my right leg back, and the thigh of the front leg, I'm going to say front and back, so you can pick whichever side, to be 90-degree angles. They're perpendicular lines if you can get there. Okay?
Both,
Huh?
sitting bones down.
If you can, but you probably can't. Yeah. Okay. 10 fingers in front of the knee. If you can, anybody else can, then yeah, you can let your sitting bone touch. But it's going to roll up and up and down. That's what we're about to do. Sitting bones are going to frame the knee that's forward, that you're more facing. Okay? Did I say sitting bones?
Yeah.
I meant hand.
We know.
We just were talking about sitting bones. And go ahead and tighten your fingers to give your ribs some height. Then we're going to roll through the back hip. This is my right. Okay? I want you to roll that hip forward. You're probably going to feel your glute squeeze. Let that go. Instead of using the glute squeezing to push the hip forward, which isn't natural, that's not what muscles do. They pull, they don't push. Are you sure? Pretty sure. Pull back on the mat with this hip. Like the front sitting bone is trying to slide backwards to roll the back hip forward. Okay, then to go back, use a little pressure with your hands, use a little pressure with that front knee. Push the mat away with the front hip to roll the back sitting bone to the mat. Now I want the back sitting bone to touch. So this foot has to be back far enough that your buttocks face, your glutes fit. Okay? And then just roll back and forth slow. Let the hip roll forward through the joint, pull with this groin back into the low belly, and then push this side away as you roll the other hip back, suck your low belly back a little. Try to round when you sit. Yep. And then roll forward. Good. And then roll back. Let your ribs round, let your head drop, let your back release. Roll forward. Good. Feel that rolling through the hip. Roll back. If you want to deepen it, you can flex this foot and take it back further. Roll forward. Good. And then roll back. The sitting bone has to be able to touch, or else you make it too deep. Okay. Roll forward. And then roll back. Let's try this a little bit.
This is kind of like those things in the air where we're, yeah, and I could do this better.
Yeah, because you're sitting down. There's
Oh,
less
yeah.
stuff involved. The quad, or the calf, the quad, all of these muscles in the legs that can decide to tighten and choke your hips and start getting the hips to tighten are not so involved. Right? Plus you're not weight bearing, less stress, no balance, blah, blah, blah. All right, roll the hip forward. So this is coordination right now. This isn't majorly difficult, right, in any way. It's not a humongous stretch, but it's you're learning how your hips roll each other, right? So left pulls back, right gets rolled forward. Now stay forward. Use your rib cage to shift right over this back leg, toward the back leg a little bit. Okay, then release that glute. Now as you roll, keep your ribs to the right over that back leg. Roll forward, roll back. A little different, right? Keep that glute out of it. You can start to feel outer hip a little bit more, especially if your foot's further back. Make sure that sitting bone can touch down. Roll forward. Now when you roll back, keep your ribs to the right. Try to roll shoulders forward a little. Suck your belly back like you're going to leave the ribs there. Roll pelvic bowl behind ribs.
So
Yeah.
ribs are away from the front leg.
Ribs are away from this knee toward the back knee, to the right. The
Okay.
right knee is forward. Your left knee is there.
Yeah,
So
I'm
your
opposite of
toes
you.
left.
Yeah.
Yep. And And then as you roll back, try to stay that way with upper body, but let that shoulder roll forward. Shoulder of the back leg rolls forward as hip rolls back. Feel that side get longer. Feel that a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah? No? Not finding it?
Mm-mm.
Do it again. Try to roll back. Keep the shoulder forward. Oh, think of elbow winging out. There
Okay.
you go. So if your elbow wings out, remember that lat attaches into lumbar spine, comes up under shoulder blade and attaches into the humerus in the upper arm. So if your elbow rotates out and forward while your low belly sucks back, that should start opening that muscle a little bit.
What's the right arm, what's the opposite arm doing?
You can open that one too. It'll just help your low belly suck back, get your back muscles out of the way a little bit. Roll forward. You should start feeling that hip a little. And then roll back. Good. Let's turn toward the back leg. Tent the fingers there. See if you can lift your rib cage up above the pelvic bowl as you twist. Bring the arm nearest the front leg out in front of the back knee. And then think of twisting. Bring your back hand close to either inside the foot or outside, depending on how wide your foot is. Push down with it to pick the ribs up as you twist. So it's right rib cage coming up if you're twisting toward right leg and back. If left leg is in back, it's the left rib cage picking up. Good. You guys feel that? Low belly sucking back. Breathe. If you're really deep here, you can go as far forward as you want. If you want to get deeper, bring the toes back. Because that knee is probably limiting you. Yeah. If you're really deep, you can go all the way into your twist. Bring elbow to knee, hands into prayer, and get some leverage there. Top hand pushing down. Wherever you're at. Good. Bring it back to the middle. Okay, let's lay over the other leg. That should be easy. Oh, yeah. That's good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Easy stuff. No big deal. All right, let's get some deeper stretching in here. Bring that back foot or the front foot forward so that your knee to toe is parallel to the top of the mat. Elbow in front of that knee, pinning it in place. Other elbow in front of the foot, which they should be on the same plane if that foot really is parallel to the top of the mat. Okay? Now use your upper body, your elbows on the mat to shift the ribs around. So your elbows are going to push left on your mat toward the knee you're pinning. Keep the knee pinned back and take your shoulders across the other way toward the front foot. Okay, so you're going away from the hip that's sitting on the ground. Feel that? Elbow pins the knee back as you do that. Okay, then doing that, try to sit back a little bit, back sitting one coming toward the mat a little bit more, rolling through the hips here. And then roll back forward again, staying in your pigeon stretch with the front leg. Roll to the back hip a little further. Yeah, and roll to the front. Keep your body generally over toward this opening, okay? Using elbows to do that. Use elbows pushing that forward to roll back. Front knee may pop up a little, that's okay, let it. And then roll forward. Just go a little bit. Huh?
Is your right foot doing
No, it's going along to the right. Your elbows are moving you, upper body's moving you. Your elbows push the mat forward to roll you back. Drop head, suck belly back. Your elbows pull the mat back. That's the radius pulling to bring ribs forward and hips just solid. Okay, feeling that a little? Upper body moves low body. Let it be dead. That's why we're sitting. We're trying to keep your low body released so you can move through your range of motion without a bunch of opposing muscles firing and getting in your way. You can do it standing in a minute. It's going to be hard.
What
All
is,
right.
this foot, doesn't matter where it's at?
We're about to take it back further, so you're okay. Take the back leg back further. You're going to lean all the way onto the elbow of the front arm. So you're opening the chest, okay? And then work that front hip back to the back edge of the mat. And then work this leg back all the way to the same side of the mat you're on. That may be ambitious. You may have to bring it back out to the other side once you roll into the stretch, but that's okay. This foot's going to come back only as much as it needs to for you to roll into the stretch. If you don't need to bring it back, and try first and not bring it back. You can tuck the back toes to help roll you on top of that quad to get there. Good. Okay, wherever your stretch is here, live in it. All right, good. Elbow in front of the knee still. Push down for your elbows to pick your ribs up, top of the back foot on the floor. Let your left hip, or wherever your front hip is, roll toward the mat. Yeah, good. Keep the head dropping, let your low belly suck up, so you roll a little out of the stretch. Now start rolling back into the stretch, trying to drop back hip toward the mat by using elbows shifting across to bring your chest toward the front foot. Bring your shoulders toward the front foot. You feel that? And then hips piece off here. Roll back the other way out of the stretch. Use upper body to move lower body. Roll back into it. Good. Okay. Hold back on the elbow. Hold back on the knee with the elbow a little to go further. Guys feel this?
My thighs.
Yeah, me too.
Roll back the other way. Okay, one more, come into it. Yeah, feels tight because we didn't do a lot of using it yet. All right, now tuck the back toes. Bring your hands back. Bring your foot back a touch if you need to. Kind of too much. Walk the back knee forward, retuck your toes shorter. Good. Push into your back leg like you're in a push-up position. Good. Push into your hands. Suck the belly up. Spread your shoulder blades off the back. Inner spiral your arms here. So biceps face in. Put a baby bend in elbows. Let your head drape. Keep pressure in hand. Suck the belly up. Now push through the front knee. The stretching leg. Push it down. Suck the belly up higher. Let your back knee bend a little bit. So engaging that front hip. Then reach the back leg back. Reach the pubic bone back. Drop your hips toward the mat more. Do it again. Round it up. Push through hands. Spread shoulder blades. Push through thumb side of the hand. Inner spiral arms. Drop your head. Think cat cow. Suck the belly up. Bend the back knee a little bit. Keep back toes strong. Push through front knee. Now, drop the back hip in toward the front hip and stay over on the side of the mat where the front knee is. And then roll it back open to face sideways. Do it again. Drop hip back. Drop that back hip back in. So it's like the back frontal hip is trying to go into the groin of the other leg. Roll it back open. Good. So baby weight bearing that hip. One more. Roll it in. Roll it open. This time you're going to roll in. Work the back leg back and sit back into your stretch again. See if you can get in there a little deeper. What are we feeling?
My hands are
Bring
killing.
elbows back down.
My
Alright.
wrist.
Your wrists are talking? You don't want your hands so far? And you still have those tight wrists. How we doing? Okay? Roll back toward that right leg. Or whatever your back leg is back there. Bring your arm across and put your elbow back down, opening the side. So you're reaching away from the bent knee, across toward the foot. Reach the other arm, Mary. Other arm. There you go. Reach it forward, past the foot. Yep. Gotta put your elbow down.
So the knee one is stretching away.
Yeah, you're stretching. The front foot's here, the knee's here, your body's going across toward the foot.
Okay.
Okay. There you go. Okay, and try to put that elbow back down. See if you can go further. See if you can walk your elbows all the way around to where that foot is. The more you can bring the ribs around, the better. Use elbows pulling back on the mat to roll the back frontal hip toward the mat. Good. You feeling that?
Yeah.
Can't miss it. If you're really in there, you can put your elbow into the ball of the foot and then come into prayer. Either elbow into the ball of the foot can pull back on the foot, pinning the knee back as your chest goes away. Okay. You have your full prayer. You can twist. Good. All right, come back out of it. Bring the elbow toward the mat where the foot is, even if your foot is back a little bit. Try to bring that elbow right under your shoulder. The other hand comes right in front of the knee. You're going to twist toward the front knee. Twist your ribs toward that front knee. Drop the back hip to the mat. Keep pressure in the front elbow and wing it out and forward. Keep pressing there to pick up the ribs away from pelvic bowl on that side. You can press into the bottom elbow to help twist and pick up ribs. And then drop it back down. Do it again. Push into that hand. Pick up the ribs and twist. Let the hip drop back. Drop it back down. Good. Bring your hands under you. Tuck your back toes again. Walk the knee forward. Reach up. Reach through the back leg like you're in push-up position on that leg. Push through front knee. Suck the low belly up. Drop head, drop neck. And then bring it back. Good. And then roll out of your stretch. Sit onto the hip. Right back to where we were in the beginning.
Yay!
Yay! Okay. From here, same position. You're going to have the back leg parallel to the front of the mat. Try to have the front foot, front leg, front shin to toe, or knee to toe, parallel to the front of the mat. So your legs are parallel lines, bottom and top. And then see if you can come back forward. Good. And then roll the back hip back again. You can use the fingertips to do it. Roll the hip forward. You should have a little more room in your hips. Roll the hip back. Front knee pushing down. Hold it down a little. If you want to hold knees, you can. Roll the hip forward, push into the front knee. Push into the front knee to roll the hip back. You feel how your hips interclay. Do it again. Roll forward, pull back on the front knee, elbow in. Roll back, push the front knee away. Starting to feel a little more space in the hips.
Yeah.
Little movement. Roll forward. And then roll back. So this is a lot of coordination and mechanics today. One more roll forward. Yeah, you may be better off with hands firmly in the ground.
Yeah,
Shoulder.
sure.
And one more. All right, good. Okay. come back to Baddha Konasana. Really long. Maybe 2 feet, feel the hips.
Mm-hmm.
Good, okay. Toes open. So this activation in your toes, keeping the feet awake, is helpful to activate some of the muscles in here, but softly. It's not quite as much as standing. Okay, elbows to the shins. Pull back on the mat with feet. Pull back on the shins with elbows. Feel the serratus, intercostals, all those muscles attached to ribs. Pulling back. Shoulders pulling back to bring you forward. Let your hips release. Let your low back release. It doesn't get to help here. And then go the other way. Feet push the mat forward. Let the head release and hang. Low belly sucking back, back rounding. Knees opening. That makes space in hips. Toes are still open. Then pull back on the mat with feet. Pull back with elbows. These may even lift a little. So what? Let them. Low belly. There we go. You guys feeling this? No difference in the hips. One more. Roll back. Let head drop. And then roll forward. You pull back, elbows pull back. Go to your deepest stretch. If you're really deep, you can bring elbows almost under shins and pick up on shins. And I tuck the fingers back and pull the chest further forward. Because that gives you more slack in the front of the hips without having to lift from the hips. All right, roll it back up. Good. Second side, how we doing? Good, Nick? Okay, get that little cheerleader sit again. We're going to start with your back leg parallel to the top of the mat, and the front, we're talking about upper thigh now, the thigh, upper leg. Front leg is parallel to the sides of the mat, okay? Front foot can be back as much as you want, okay? Yeah, that back sitting bone's in the air probably. If you're tight on the hip, if you're not so tight, you can probably just sit right down. Okay, if you want it to be bigger and deeper, you'll turn the foot out. Don't do that yet. You don't know if you want it to be bigger or deeper yet. Send fingers in front of the front leg. Your weight comes a little forward to the hand. Again, this is not that hard yet. But if you do these things right, the other things we're going to do that are harder won't feel as hard either. Okay, so it's coordination, granted. All right, roll the back hip back to the mat by pushing the hands. Think of your belly sucking back, shoulder blades spreading, just like that Baddha Konasana we just did. Front knee softly pressing down. So if your front knee's in the air, maybe a little prop. We don't want to hold it up high, but we want to go and press into the surface a little bit. And then roll forward with the back hip. Good, now just start moving through that. Rolling back and forth. Just get some movement in there, get some range of motion. As you roll back, the back sitting bone should come all the way to the mat. Your foot's far enough so that your buttocks fits, your glute fits between the foot. And then your low belly's pulling back. Think of rounding back there. Slouch, whatever you need to think of to release those back muscles in the back of the hip too. Then roll forward by pulling back on the mat with the front groin. Front sitting bone is trying to pull backwards to roll the hip forward. Not glute squeezing, shoving it forward. That's not how the body works. Push this knee away. Suck your low belly back. Let this sitting bone come down. Let your shoulders round itself and forward. Head hangs. And go the other way. Pull back with the front hip. Back hip rolling forward. You start to feel that? Roll it back. Soften the back. And roll it forward. Just 3 more here. Really get deeper into that hip by bringing your ribs toward the back knee. So if the back knee is your left, ribs go left, right? And then rolling back and forth through that hip. We getting this more? So your ribs come to me. Yeah. Roll forward. Okay. And roll back. All right, let's stay rolled forward. So you're really sitting on that front sitting bone, back sitting bone elevated but not pushed, okay? Release the back glute. Let it go. Hip will drop back a little. That's fine. It didn't belong that front forward. Okay. Now bring your ribs across, away from that front knee, horizontal across. Your hand pushes, outer hand pushes to bring them across. Then you're going to start rolling the back hip back by sucking with low belly and pushing with front knee. And roll that shoulder forward a little, elbow out. That makes space here. Feel that? So that elbow. Yeah. There you
Oh,
go.
I got it.
Yeah. It's the bent knee, the knee that's back, that's the elbow winging out. That's the side you're trying to open. Feel that? You can open both. That's
Okay.
kind of right the way you shift your ribs to.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
want you to open this one. I want you to be rolled to your back hip with your back ribs
Oh,
open.
there we go.
To knee with ribs.
There we go.
Sharon, to knee with ribs. Yeah. Feel that? Now come forward. Stay to knee with ribs. You're still facing that way. Ribs are horizontally across. Now roll back. Keep your ribs this way.
That seems simple.
Yeah, I know.
Left.
Left. Back leg is your left. Back leg.
My right.
Okay. You too. Left elbow wings out. Okay? Your left leg is back. So your left elbow is out and your wings are going left. And they're staying left. Your right leg is back. Your right elbow wings out. We're opening the right side for you. There you go. You feel that?
Yeah.
Okay, now when you roll back, that's when I want you to feel that right side really open. Pressure in right hand, belly sucking back, this is open. You guys feel that? Roll forward. Keep the hips off. Use this front leg pulling back. Now push with front leg. Roll low belly. Let this open. Keep elbow wide. Better. Feel it?
Yeah.
Do it again. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff grinding around in there, isn't there? It doesn't really want to move smoothly
No,
through
it
that
doesn't.
range of motion. I know, that's what we're doing.
The Tin Man and I need
That's why we're doing it sitting without weight bearing and any other tension, because you had a whole bunch of other coordination and strength and impact. There's no way that's going to let go through this range of motion. Okay? All right, you guys getting that? A little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Making
There's a
my
lot of
thigh-
stuff in the way in there, right?
My thigh feels so much better.
A little bit.
Loose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
A
Okay.
little tightness right there, though.
Yeah, that's, you're stretching that.
Good.
I mean, you're working,
Good.
some of that connective tissue gets so tight through there, and it doesn't want to do any helping you anymore. Okay? And as you roll back, the sitting bone is getting a little bit pulled away from the tailbone. So your piriformis, all those muscles that attach from the humerus, the top bone of this upper leg, into the tailbone, right there, are getting pulled apart a little bit. That's why you can't sit on that sitting bone very well, because it wants to stay closed in, right? Okay, so that's where we're trying to make space with this really soft movement, but mostly coordination. Yeah, you feel this, right?
Yeah,
Remember that arm?
it's a good feel, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
you feel it maybe cracking up some fibrous stuff that didn't want to move before. All right, so let's stay back. You're going to turn toward this back leg with your body. So you're trying to square the ribs to the leg. What stops that is the lack of mobility here. That hip wants to stay rolled forward, so you can't bring the ribs past it. You feel that? Okay, so first, do the rolling back and around. Yeah, so the sitting bone can come more toward the mat. Feel that? Release the low back, release the lat. Now use your hands, not your hip, to turn a little bit. Ribs passing pelvic bowl. Those have to find a pathway past each other. Better? Then reach for your right leg forward, right hand forward. Okay, yes, no.
the bent leg hand goes forward.
This is your front leg, not that one. Other one, that hand.
Am I going the wrong way?
Nope, nope, come toward me. You're coming toward the back leg.
Okay.
You're twisting toward the back leg.
So the opposite arm has to come
Reaches
forward.
past.
Okay.
Now opposite arm, the arm of the foot here, that's in, touch your foot, slide your hand straight out in front of it.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Now, use the other hand to help pick up those ribs past the pelvic bowl and twist you toward the bent leg. The leg is bent back into hero. Yeah, you feel that?
With your butt on the ground, with your
Try to
sit
keep
bone
your
on the
sitting
ground.
bone down. Don't bring your hip to your ear. That's resisting the twist. That's pushing you out of it. Right? So you don't have this. Don't reach this far across. You don't want that. Your hand is back here. This hand is here. You're working on picking the ribs up as you twist. There. Yeah. Feel the difference? Then let sitting bone settle back down. Yeah. You're trying to open up the rib cage and pelvis on this bent leg side. Feel that? That hand lifts your ribs up away from the pelvic bowl. Good. And come back. If you got a big stretch, again, you can bring elbow to knee. You can go into prayer. You can twist further. Okay. Bring it back. How we doing? Okay, bring the front foot out. You're going to make the knee to toe one straight line. And try to make them parallel to the top of the mat. Back upper leg is parallel to the bottom and top of the mat. So lower leg and upper leg parallel lines. For now. Okay, come forward. Elbow in front of knee on the same side. Elbow in front of foot on the opposite side. Okay, now try to roll toward the back bent leg. Back bent leg can slide out that way toward the foot. Forward. Okay, if it's too much, bring that knee forward. Okay. And then you're going to keep the front elbow pinning the front knee back and roll your shoulder toward the front foot. Okay, so you're trying to go away from the front knee with the upper body. You got it? Yep. Feel the stretch in the hips deepen? Oh, yeah.
Oh,
A lot?
yeah.
Yeah, too much.
Yeah, a little too much.
Okay. Keep Keep the toes
Well,
straight.
this is
That's it. Keep the
Yeah.
toes straight here. Don't let the foot flex.
oh,
Yeah, across. So
Um,
ankle is this way. Toes can be open. You don't have to crinkle toes.
okay.
But your ankle is long and straight right now. Elbow pinch shin, take it across a little. Then come back out. Come back toward letting that hip sit on the ground more. And then go the other way. Use your upper body to aim across. Yeah, feel that? You better shift your ribs across. Good, and then bring it back. Good. One more time, try to shift your ribs across. You can put your belly button over that front heel, or if you're really deep, your sternum over that front heel. Good, feel that more. Then bring the arm across. You're still trying to stay toward the front heel with sternum. Yep, try to put the elbow down. Again, because we're not trying to tighten, we're trying to open the back and drape it. If your elbow can touch down, your belly can suck up, drop head, low belly, lift it, and come forward. The same as your Baddha-Konasana we were doing a minute ago. Use that front foot, pushing the mat forward and suck low belly diagonally back and away. Roll that hip back. Then pull back on that with elbows rolled forward. So we do in your Baddha-Konasana. So elbows push forward, roll that hip back, and then pull back to roll forward. Feel that? Yeah, that one's jogging.
Cramping.
Bring it forward a little. Yeah.
Ah,
Roll back. So if the back hip has here is talking too much, bring the knee forward. Roll back for front hip, and then pull back to roll forward. See if you can go further across. Bringing elbows toward this front foot. Maybe elbow goes into the front foot. Either one to twist. Either elbow can go into it. You're going to twist toward me, Sharon. So if your right leg is forward, you are twisting left, away from the front knee. Nice.
yeah, this seems a lot easier than the other side.
We don't have to like that yet either. All right, come back. Lean away from me and sit on the sitting bone of the front hip. Try to bring that all the way to the back edge of the mat. Bring the leg back. Try to bring it into the same half of the mat that you're on. That's going to be ambitious. If you have tight hips, it'll probably want to go back across to the other side when you roll into it. Okay? Elbow right in front of knee. Try to keep this foot forward. If you're just stuck and you can't roll back into the stretch, bring this foot back a bit. Bring this leg wider a bit. So it'll go more diagonally out to that side. I mean, first see if you can roll into the stretch. If you can just roll right into the stretch, then don't make those changes. If you can't roll right into the stretch and you're really stuck, front foot needs to come back a little, back leg needs to go wider toward the front foot side of the mat. Okay, so when that's going to forward over here. So wherever you are, come into your deepest stretch. You can use the tucked back toes to roll that back quad toward the mat more. Then you can elevate hips by pushing the elbows, pick your hips up off the ground for a second out here. I'm gonna do that in a minute, okay? And then make some wiggle room in there to settle back down into your stretch. Okay, we're gonna move back and forth. Use upper body. Elbows move the mat across to bring you out of the stretch, towards sitting onto that front sitting bone, and roll the other way. Front sitting bone may roll off the mat, but don't let it come any further than it has to. We're trying to separate ribs and hip. Roll to sit on that front sitting bone. Roll the other way. Get your elbows to roll you across. Ribs lead. How we doing? Roll away from front sitting bone. Good. And yeah. Feeling this?
Oh, yeah.
Some of the
Inside the groin.
IT band muscles, groin, some of those muscles that don't know how to roll past each other may feel like they're stuck every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep rolling through it softly. Don't tense those.
Yeah.
They're not gonna roll past each other if they're tense. If they're used to clustering together into one big ball, you're not gonna have any mobility. You've gotta be moving your upper body. You've gotta be using your upper body to move your low body. So you're using elbows, shifting the mat one way toward the knee, pinning the knee in place to bring your ribs across. And inevitably, since spine is attached to ribs and it goes into pelvis, the pelvis will start to come. You're trying to keep pelvis soft. You're disengaged in your low body right now. All right? You guys feeling that a little bit? And that helps those muscles find their pathway. All right, now tuck the back toes, bring your hands up. Okay, walk the back knee forward on the mat, retuck your toes shorter, push into your plank. Okay, if you've got a deeper stretch, you can hop the back knee back. Keep long from toe to knee, inner spiral arms, push through the thumb side of the hand, pick your ribs up, suck your low belly. I don't care if back knee has to bend a little bit to give you some slack here, let your tail drop. I need front knee to push down, suck belly up. You're engaging the front hip. You feel that? It's working. Okay? Now straighten the back leg, let your pubic bone drop back, drop the pubic bone toward the mat, pubic bone, drop ribs down. Okay, do it again. Think cat-cow. Shoulders come forward, inner spiral, arms, push through hands and pick ribs up, spread shoulder blade, drop head, suck your belly up, drop the knee a little, push with front knee, back leg is fairly released, back toes are strong. Good, and then reach through back leg, let your pubic bone roll back, open up your chest, drop your ribs down. Good. One more like that. Inner spiral arms, shift your weight into hands, spread your shoulder blades to pick your ribs up, let the head hang, suck belly up, bend back knee and touch, but keep back toes strong, push through that front knee. Now roll your back frontal hip into the front groin, and then back open again. Roll back frontal hip into front groin, keep a little pressure in the front knee, and roll it back open again. Feeling that?
Yeah.
One more. Roll back frontal hip into front groin. Roll it back open. Good. Now, roll it in. Work the back leg back. Put it back down again. Elbows to the ground. How are we doing? Did you feel that hip? It's done.
It's a scar.
All right. The same thing we did before. Use upper body to move the ribs across toward the foot. Think of sternum coming over that foot. And then reach the arm across, elbow to the mat. Good. Maybe you start to bring one of your elbows into the foot. Maybe you start to bring the furthest elbow into the foot. You're going to twist. Try to bring the back hip toward the mat. Feel that hip opening? And bring it back. Good. Roll to the back hip. Bring your back knee forward. Or roll to the front hip, excuse me. And sit up. Good. Let's go back to lower leg parallel with upper leg. See if you can come forward a little bit toward the front shin. And then see if you can bring your hands onto shins to roll back and forth. Roll back. Keep the front knee down. Roll forward. Good. You can use hands on the floor to do this. Starting to feel that rolling through the hips a little bit more. Good. If you can get deeper, you can keep that front hand there and start dropping the shoulder forward toward the back knee as you go back. And then same thing when you go the other way. Yep. Shoulders go across. There you go. Good. All right, we're feeling the hips. Okay, bring it around.
Gotcha.
Soles and the feet together, Baddha Konasana. Okay, this little thing. Toes open, elbows in front of the shins. Okay, push the mat forward with your feet. I'll get started again. Push the mat softly forward, like you're sliding the feet forward on the mat. That'll slide you under with hips, tailbone under. Suck the low belly back. Elbows are in front of shins, toes open. Then go the other way. Pull back on shins with elbows. That comes from serratus. Pull back on mat with feet. Chest comes forward. Feel a little more space in the hips? Do it again. Feet push forward. Low belly sucks back. Head hangs. Shoulders hang. And then feet pull back. Shoulders come, or elbows pull back. Good. Feel more room? 2 more. Roll through it. Feet push forward. Low belly sucking back. Drop head. Let shoulders roll forward. And feet pull back. Coming forward. Last one, and then roll it up when you're ready. Good, all right, let's apply this to some weight bearing, and then we're gonna come to your corpse. Bring your blocks to the top of the mat, and you're gonna get your 3-inch block, your lower block, or bone book if you're at home, whatever, and put it in the middle of the mat.
Do you think that I should use my big blue one?
I do. I do. Okay, so if you have any issues with your hips being really tight, maybe you want to be higher. Maybe you use your coffee table for your hands to rest on, and then you're going to step on your block. Let's see where we are. We started 15 minutes late. We're only going to do a little bit of this. We do a lot more active class on Wednesday, where we just move through this more, and hopefully you're going to feel more open now. Let's turn the right toes out, so the toes are off the side of the block, ball of the foot touching down, heel on the block. And then step your left foot way out in front. Then bring your blocks forward. Hard toes not. Okay. With your heel up on the block. Alright, now you're going to think of shifting your chest well past your blocks. Weight comes into the front, but your back hip drops forward. Guys feel that? Now just shift your weight into the back foot. Let your hips roll there. Okay, shift your weight into the front heel, front foot, excuse me, roll into the inner foot. Now, shoulders forward a little bit, drop your head, push into hands, pick your floating ribs up by pushing down from hand, and then let the ribs drop back down again. So moving through straightest, pick the ribs up, shoulder blades spreading, push your hands, drop ribs back down. How that affects that front hip. One more, push through your hands, lift low belly a little. Now roll back into your back hip, put that space there. Then let your ribs drop, let your back release back down again. Now don't bring your left shoulder to your left hip. Keep the left shoulder forward. Think of squaring the ribs toward that leg and let your head drop. Feel that stretch? Okay. Come back up. Shift your chest and shoulders forward past your block as your weight comes into the front foot. Your left hip hugs back a little. Think of outer spiraling the leg, heel in, toes out. But then think of putting sitting bone back further, dropping chest down. Guys, feel that stretch?
Oh, yeah.
Roll to the back hip. Good. You feel the rolling, just roll back and forth a few times. Chest has to get longer. Yeah, so just uncrunch those left ribs. You feel that? Now leave them uncrunched when you go back. You don't need to bring the shoulder to. Don't bring that hip out to the side. Yeah. And then come forward. So when you go back, it almost feels like that front leg is still rolled under you a little bit. And then come forward, it really rolls back. Yep, you feeling this? Bring the blocks back. Step your front foot all the way back, off the back of the legs. Okay, bring the toes to the block, heel to the mat. Shift your back foot out a little. So you got a 45-degree turn out in that back foot. Bring your blocks all the way back until they're even with the front edge of the block the foot is on. Step back longer, step back longer. There we go. Okay, heels can be on the same line, or if you know you're tight in the hips, widen the stance. I'm going to go with heels on the same line here. Drop your left hip back. Your left foot is back, your left hip is back. Don't shorten the right side though. Don't bring that right glute out to the ear. Keep it back. Okay. And then you're going to shift weight into your blocks. Chest comes forward, left hip comes forward. Yep. If you can't do that, you need to be up higher. You need higher blocks. And then shift it back again. Good. Feeling that? Rolling through the hip there. Big stretch, right?
I actually need to be higher.
Yeah. Even higher than you are?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 10 fingers on your block.
Okay.
Check. Come forward.
Yeah, that's better.
And then come back. Then give yourself a hug. Come forward. Now you can roll.
Yeah, that's
rolling,
better.
and then come back. There we go. That's it. Much better. Everybody looks better. Yeah. Feel the hips roll back and forth.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Now let's add some movement in the feet. Roll to the inner arch of your back foot. Chest coming past your blocks. Roll to the outer arch of the front foot a little bit.
Chest coming, it's not going.
And then roll back. Sorry, hip drops back. Good. Do it again. Let your chest come forward. Shift your whole body forward. Bend your front knee a little bit. There you go. The hip drops back more. You feel that? With your front hip, your pelvic bowl is back. Okay, and then when you drop back, you try not to lose that space. Try not to bring your hip to your ear. And then come forward. Good. How we doing? Flatten out hands. Let's just bend elbows, drop your head, let it drape as far as it can. Good. And bring it back up. Come to the toes of the back foot, heel turns back. Bend your back knee a little, keep the front leg straight. Push through hands, suck the belly back. Drop your head like you're going to look at your own core. Start bending the back knee. Try to make your knees line up on one line. So front leg is straight. Front leg is straight. Front leg is straight. Bend the back knee, come high on the back toes. Suck the belly back, release the heel back down. Good. Bring your foot off the block and step your other foot to it. Good. Second side. Blocks come forward. Left heel is on the block, toes turned out, ball of the foot to the side, right foot way out in front, blocks in front of the foot. So your chest can go forward. You can touch fingers here too if you think you need to, but you probably will have less of a stretch because now your heel is lifted instead of dropped.
Right.
Okay, roll the back hip forward, let that front hip hug back. Look at the space here. Front heel, think heel in, toes out to pull the pelvic bowl back. Feel that? Now when you drop back, try not to kill that space. Don't bring your hip to your ear. Drop back, keeping some of that space. The shoulder, front shoulder can stay forward a little to keep this open. And roll forward, chest going past the leg. Just feel that rolling through the hips. Let your chest drop. And then drop back. Good. Getting it? Very nice. You can use the weight transfer in the feet to help you. Roll to the inner arch of your back foot when the back hip rolls forward, outer front foot just a little. Then switch, roll to inner front foot, outer back foot when you roll back. Good, don't bring shoulder back when you roll back. Keep that shoulder forward, good. And then come forward. Good. Yeah, how are we doing?
Yeah, that helped a lot.
Yes, because you always want to bring hip and shoulder toward each other, which really compresses the obliques there, and we want to keep that space open. That's what lets the hip be free to roll. Good. Okay, bring your blocks back. Step the front foot behind the block. Keep walking blocks back. Front heel is now going to be off the back of the block with the ball of the foot on the block. Blocks are even with the line of this block. You can play with that, maybe change it up. Back foot back. Now it's basically hard as what's not the other way, but with the heel on the block. Spread your toes with the front foot activated. Roll to the inner back foot, outer front foot, chest comes forward, hip drops forward. Here you may need to be higher than you were in the front. So this may be where you take your fingers and then roll it open again. Good. Just feel the rolling through the hips. It's easier when you can keep legs straight. If you have to bend and straighten the legs, you've got an extra movement in there that confuses your brain. Good. You feeling this? Yes, no, kind of?
Yeah. No, I got it.
Okay, good. So now think of outer spiraling the femur, the upper leg, in the glenohumeral joint as you roll forward. So you're rolling out, groin trying to face the ceiling. Then, when groin tries to face the ceiling, pull that front sitting bone under. So drop ribs to take sitting bone back. A little deeper. And then roll the hip back again. Keep dragging the sitting bone back. And then roll forward. Good. How are we doing? Okay, let's stay roll forward, chest forward, come on the toes, the back foot. Okay, and then start bending the back knee to sit back like you're going to sit in the chair. Keep the front leg straight. Good. Suck your belly back. Push through hands. Drop head. Lift your belly back. Low belly sucking out. Shoulder blades spreading. And then drop your heel back down. Feel if your glutes are holding. Let it go. Drop your chest back forward. Good. Step your foot to the mat. Good. And roll it up. How are we doing?
Good.
Feel a difference there?
Yes.
All right, let's get rid of all your stuff. And we'll grab your bolster. You can use a block if you're at home to put under the hips, and then we'll just go into your corpse pose after that. So if the tape cuts off here, we're just going to do happy baby, alternate legs, and then go into corpse. We're running out of time. So you're going to sit. You can lay on the mat with the bolster under the legs, and then pick up hips and pull it under you. Or you can sit down in front of it, put your sacrum against it, and lay back over it. Whatever works. Just get that bolster under your back. You want bolster under floating ribs, under part of the rib cage, and definitely under all the way to tailbone. Okay, shoulder blades open. Arms up, chin down, one leg at a time. We'll take the variation with the hands, where your hands go inside legs and then under the heel. So you're cupping hand around heel. Try to grab foot, try to grab heel. Heels reach up into hands like you're pushing to the ceiling. Elbows bend. Your shin and forearm should be connected. Not elbow into upper leg, shin and forearm. And then elbows push out to the sides. Okay, let go of the right leg. Drop the right leg forward, right arm back. Keep the left elbow bent, and your upper body's controlling low body. Think for the day. Elbow or shin and forearm. Yeah, shin or back of the leg. I guess it's calf and forearm connected. Hand out to the side, heel reaching up into hand. Drop your front hip further forward. You'll feel more weight come into that left hand. Keep it firm. Good. Feel some extra space in the hips here?
Yes.
Good. Bring it back up. Right hand inside the leg, hand under the heel. Foot turns out sideways, toes opening and pulling back, so heel sticks up. Heel into hand, bicep pulling. When your left leg starts to go forward, try to bring it toward the mat and then extend it out low. The more you extend it, the more you weight you'll feel coming to this hand from this heel reaching up. Left arm dropping back. Good. Bring that right leg wide. Try not to bring your shoulder to your hip. Try to release the right side. So that's for you. Let that right shoulder come up a little. Keep your heel up. Yeah. I'll bring your shoulder down and squish your hip. Good. Feel the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Now let your left hip drop forward more. Yeah. Feel that extra bit of room in there?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Breathe. Good. And lean that leg back. Yeah. How are we doing? Good. All right, so you want easy twist here. It's an open twist. Bring your bolster up as high as you can. I want your shoulders to barely be able to reach the ground, but they do touch. And then hands just kind of rest on bolster. Elbows should be outside the corners of your bolster. Good. Bring your feet close to you. Heels wider than toes. So you're pigeon toed, heels out, toes in. And then drop your right knee in and down. Lift the outer arch of your right foot. Your right knee comes across into your midline. Feel that stretch in the front of the hip?
Mm-hmm.
Keep your left knee in. Don't let it bail out. And then bring it up and switch. Left knee rolling down. Good. Keep that outer foot lifted. Feel that?
Mm-hmm.
Good. How are we doing?
Good.
Switch. You should feel rolling through the hips here too. Now as you roll back and forth, when one knee drops forward, they kind of graze past each other. Don't pull the other knee out. Just let that one drop forward. And then switch. Think of the feet. Lift the outer foot, pinky side of the foot, nice edge of the foot facing the ceiling. And then switch. You guys starting to feel how those hips roll past each other?
Yes.
Good. And then switch. Hips have to start to play nice, but be separate. Your glutes can't stick your sitting bones together. Your piriformis can't always pull in. Yeah. Starting to feel the difference there? Good. All right. And then bring it up when you're ready. Good. Push your bolster down to the tip of the tailbone. If you feel like you need more, you want to plow from up here is a good place to go ahead and roll up into your plow. You can use hands to help if you want. If you're done, just go to your course. Bring your bolster all the way down. If you want to take the plow, looks like you both do. Try to bring your bolster all the way up to your elbows are on top of it. And then keep your elbows on it and hold behind the leg. And your elbows are pushing down in the bolster to help hold your legs up. And then like it's somebody else's low body, walk hands to hips, totally release, like shoulders, knees are bent toward you. And then push your hips up, keep your low body totally released like it's somebody else's. Knees dropping toward the mat, toward your shoulders, wherever they drop to. Once you're there, elbows pushing down, but shoulders also push down, hips reach up. Maybe toes touch, wherever you go. And then to roll down, low belly pulls, let your hips release into your hands. And then one foot at a time to the mat. Good. Push your bolster down to the tip of the tailbone. Just let your low back release for a minute.